What's going on? This is Mike with the 1% Mindset Podcast. I have a returning guest, one of my first guests ever on the podcast, Anthony Minaya. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. The best guest on your
Definitely.
But go ahead.
So when I first had you on the podcast, you were just starting up the 1%. I'm sorry, I said the 1% Mindset. That's me. You're just starting the About It life, man. So kind of
Yeah.
tell me the last, year plus how it's kind of what you first envisioned and starting it up to where it is now.
Well, it changed completely, man. From the beginning of what I wanted it to be, the approach of it. It's funny how when you start something in the beginning and you have a certain direction, a certain vision you want it to go, and then you just naturally your growth just changes all of that, right? So it completely transformed to something different, more philosophical, um, more practical than what I originally wanted it to be. At first, I wanted to be something like motivating and more, something more inspiring, motivating, things like that. Now it turned more philosophical. As I continue to learn new information, everything just completely changed. So that's what happened, man. Yeah, I love it.
So what kind of pushed you into the philosophical realm? Like I know you've been studying a lot of like the human mind and just nature and things around you. What's kind of driven you to um, that like the philosophical approach more so than the motivation side? Like how did that kind of come about?
Because I realized that the motivation stuff, it 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 has its limits. You know what I'm saying? It has its limits. Like people want practical information. People want to know what's actually going on with them. You can tell them, you can do it, you can make it happen, and you can do all this motivational stuff. But for some reason, people still feel like, why can I not make it happen? What is actually going on? You know what I'm saying? What is going on with myself? What's going on in my mind? Why am I limited when it comes to like, when I want to make certain moves? Why is it not happening? Like, what's the answer to this question? So I did a little, did more research, did more study, and naturally I gravitated towards that direction. I got very interested. I always been interested in philosophy, but this time around, the type of information that I teach now is totally different than the information that I was teaching last year. Even though it all comes together, it's the same thing, but it's turned up to 1,000 now. Now it's more, in depth on what the problem is. As a matter of fact, let me just say it like this: I have a clear understanding now of the focus or what I need to focus on. I found what people actually like when it comes to my stuff.
Got it. And that was gonna be like my next question. How has your fan base or your followers, how have they transitioned? Not so much transition, but how have they appreciated that new approach from where it started to where it is now?
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. Bro, we grew, like, the fan base is growing every single day. Literally the followers, but this too, before I started too, you saw the follower count. Now it's growing amazing. People love it, man. I posted one video. I marketed one video and it has over like 2,000 followers from that one video, right? And when I saw that, I was like, okay, what is it about this video that people like? What is it about? Why did this video do so well? Why am I getting a lot of engagement, a lot of followers from this? And and then I dig deep into it more, and I started creating content like it. And then that's when you listen to the audience, man. People want to read books. I love reading books. You know this, man. But people want to read books on how to market themselves, or how to they go to YouTube videos, how to market themselves efficiently. They buy courses to help them with marketing, but just listen to the audience, man, and pump out content every single day. And when you listen to the audience, you can see what people like, and then you give them more of that, and then they are the ones that start to market you. They the ones that start to promote you, and it's fascinating when you see that happen, man.
Nice. So I know you said you switched to kind of the philosophical approach. Your audience and your fans have grown. Uh, have you seen a direct correlation? Maybe not one, but a few, um, from where they were when they first started working with you to where they are now, based on your principles and your teachings and stuff of that nature.
Can you repeat that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
So I mean, it's more so like, so you said you've been following, you follow what the audience wants and what your fans want. Have
Yeah.
you seen growth in any one or a few or two people that's been following you from the very beginning till now? Like, have you seen the changes in them?
Yeah, I mean, as you grow, the audience grows with you, right? So you start to see their interest in the information they listen to now because you have such a strong influence on them, right? So now when you're speaking a certain message, they're starting to see it within themselves, especially if your message is it relates to them and it's facts, right? When you can say something and your words are literally a mirror which they just see themselves in, and when they see themselves within your words, it's like, holy shit, now their perspectives start to change. And you can start to see the things they start to share, the books they start to read, the messages you get from them. Hey, man, because of this particular thing you said, I studied more of it. I went to go check it out. And yeah, I definitely have seen that a lot. The audience grows with you, man. It's they're on the journey with you, especially if you speak a solid message. They will be around for a very long time.
How has it? We didn't speak, I don't think at all about her. You're married, and how has your wife um, been an influence or has enabled your growth? Like, what the importance of having a good, solid partner who believe what you believe help with your growth?
Well, since the beginning, when I first got with her, she's older than me, and once we got together, I was like, okay, I got to make something happen now. You know what I'm saying? Like, like especially she lived in London, so I would fly there. She flies over here. I fly over there, and that stuff costs a lot of money. Flying to London and things like that. So I made that happen, and since the very beginning, man, it helped step my game up. And now, we live together in Jersey City, and yeah, it's just we're business partners, best friends, and it's yeah, everything.
So,
It
so
stepped my game up tremendously.
okay, so you attribute a lot of your success to her and her being with
Right,
you.
a lot of my growth, absolutely, yeah, which leads to success. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I asked that because I think over the last few interviews I've done or just studying myself, it's really hard to make something happen if you have a partner who either doesn't believe in you or does something completely different. So I want to know what it was like from your perspective, being the fact that you guys are both in a space of um, not necessarily motivation, but yours is philosophical. She has a lot of energy based things. So just how has that tandem worked versus someone who
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
doesn't believe so
Yeah,
much.
yeah. The philosophy is different. The approach to what we do is different, and a lot of times the business side of us clash. Not in a negative way, but more in a way of like, okay, we're challenging each other's perspective, and it's helped because now you start to see, okay, you start to see how other people do things from a different perspective, and they're getting results, and then you see how what you're doing, and then you see your approach and you're getting results, and you just it's yeah, it's a balance. It's a challenge at times, because again, you got two egos clashing, right? This way is the way it is, or this is the right information, is like a challenge of philosophies. But overall, it's healthy. It's a healthy balance of what we do, and I think we do it pretty well. It's helped a lot, man.
you dropped a lot of clients over the last year or so. Um, more so focusing on you, focusing on higher level, whether clients are just focused on you. Um, well, I guess what was your mindset about that? I mean, like, what was your mindset to that with dropping clients and just kind of moving forward? How obviously whether that's a money hit, maybe it was a money hit initially, I'm not sure, um, but what went into that?
Well, after a while, bro, um, in the beginning of what you do, right? When you're starting a client business or when you're starting something, you want clients to get results, right? But you also in it to make a lot of money as well, right? You want to make money and you also want the client uh, that you take on to get results, right? You want them to see it. And my approach at the time with what I was teaching and what I was doing, I was making a lot of money. But when you make a lot of money, it's no longer about the money. Now it's about the people, the type of clients you're getting, the results they're getting. And then I started to see the actual problem. And this, it's funny how you mentioned that because that led to me seeing like what is actually going on, right? Like what is really going on with people. And I became more curious, which kind of changed the approach of my brand, changed the information that I consume. It changed everything because we're seeing that something can actually work, right? Here it is. Here's the blueprint. 1, 2, 3, right? But during that process, how does one make that so complicated? Why does one doesn't want like why does a human being does not want to take those 1, 2, 3 steps? No matter how much they say they want to. They put the goals down, everybody's excited, everybody's pumped. Yeah, I want to make this thing happen, but the day to day, it's like nobody's showing up, right? And then you start to study that a little bit more, and then you start now. Somebody like myself is this client game. I had a lot of clients in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So I have a wide variety of people that I can see. What like I have a how can I say this? I have I have a lot of information
Hmm.
to go based off of, right? Like, how did these 10 people do this? And this other 10 do this? And then this other 10 do, right? So I have a lot of people and examples to pull from. And I realized that it's not what people want. You know what I'm saying? I remember we talked about this too in the last interview, how one approach is like, you start to see that there's a lot of things that people come to you for, but it's not what they need,
Hmm.
right? It's not what they need. They may say, "Oh, I want to make more money," or I want to build my business or something, but it's not what they need. There's a reason why they want that, right? And they sometimes hire coaches out of desperation. They hire coaches out of sense of hope, right? Maybe I can hear some form of information that will give me like this type of new energy, this hope, and then once they see what it actually takes, it brings them right back to reality, right? That's not what they want. They're just looking to escape their problems in a form of, I want change, right? And I was getting a lot of that. And this is why it just felt like this is not the right thing to do right now.
Makes sense. Okay, so you dropped the clients, you started focusing more so on why people do what they do, in a philosophical standpoint. Is there any, I guess, philosopher or book that you draw from the most that you absolutely love?
No, I study other people's work, other people's information, just to get a perspective, just a different perspective of what I believe in, right? But I'm more so now observing more than anything else. I observe people. I observe the clients I had on board. I observe the audience. As far as the book that I pull from most, I learn from everything, bro.
Okay, so there's not one particular thing. Okay,
No.
so I ask a few more, and then I'll let you go, because we don't need to do a hour 30 like we did before. But
Right, 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 right.
it seems like just it seems like you're in a space. You're almost like mellow. I think that's probably the word that I want to use. It's like a mellow feeling. Like, before it was, pumped up about it, gotta get it. Like it's a different it's a different vibe, a different feeling now that you have. I don't know if that's your approach towards life. I don't know if that, like, there's a significant change in you. Can
Right.
you explain that? Like, where did that come from? It just it feels um almost like a transformed Anthony Minaya. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of speak to that. And these are for the people that knew you prior to, or if you're listening now, take a look at the previous interview from season 1 that I did, Anthony Minaya, the About Life. That tone versus now, it's just different. Can you kind of
Yeah.
speak about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can see that too. Even with my podcast as well, the approach is very, very. It's focused on the problem, man. It's very serious. That's why. You can motivate people. You can make some money. You can build businesses. You can do all these things, and everybody's like, this is cool, you're doing great, we support you, but it doesn't ever answer the actual problem. It doesn't solve the actual problem. So now my approach nowadays, it's more just, man, this is I take it very serious. I take my podcast very serious, which grown amazing. Like, I have this responsibility. I have this philosophy where I have this Atlas statue, right? This statue of Atlas holding the world,
Uh-huh.
right? And I don't know the true meaning behind that, right? But I use it as a statue of responsibility, being that I am the world and the world is me. This type of mentality, meaning that anything I do has a direct effect on another human being in some way, right? And that's fact, right? Think about how many resources you're using from other people, or how much energy or time you're either you're taking from another person based on your moves, right? If you make a wrong move, there's one human being on this planet that you will affect in some way, right? So I think about this responsibility that I have to my audience and how it's grown so much that I'm like, shit, there's people that really listen to me every single day. And this is why I was doing the podcast once a week. And I turned that into a daily, probably 3 or 4 times a week now, I do a podcast. So, that's just because the responsibility I feel I have. So it's more of a serious approach of, a serious Anthony Minaya, right? Just because as it grows, man, you start to see you hear the shit. It's crazy, bro. The problems that people have, and how they're relying on you as the source of inspiration, as their source of education. And if you're not on your game, man, they will let you know. And for the other week, this, you was hitting me up too. The other week, I was gone for like about 4 or 5 days. I didn't bring my phone. I went hiking up in Pennsylvania, and with my family, and people were hitting me up. Yo, where's the podcast? Yo, where's this? Yo, what's up? We haven't heard from you. Yo, like this, there was like hundreds of messages, bro. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, there was a lot of messages, people saying, yo, what happened, right? And that just made me realize, shit, there's this responsibility I have to really, produce the right stuff. So it's more focus. My entire life is now built, you know, you know, uh, design, position my life to put, in order to have the energy to put out great content. So a lot of it is like an energy saver too, man. You need stamina, man, to produce great quality content every single day, bro.
Yeah. So with your following, with people reaching out to you, pouring, I wouldn't say pouring into you, but coming to you with their problems. Do you feel, because I've had a lot of people tell me about this, and I think I've actually had this happen to me. But do you feel like when people come to you with problems, the amount of people that come to you, or whatever that looks like, some of their negative energy or some of their stress, like, does it hit you at all ever? Has that ever happened?
No, it doesn't. It's,
Okay.
it used to. Yeah, it used to. That's why when you have so much energy, motivation, you can do it. I wasn't teaching. I wasn't promoting motivation. It was more. Yeah, it was motivation. I was more practical motivation, right? And I still do it in some way, because people like that stuff. But when you see the clients, that definitely drained me. Where it's like, dude, it's right in front of your face. It's right in front of your fucking face, and you're not. I don't know if you could curse on here, but you're not seeing it. And I was like, yo, man, it's draining. Yeah, it's definitely draining when people pay you high end money, and it's straight for hope, right? It's hopefully I'll see something out of this, but there's no actual intention to change for most people. Not all. There's people that literally, that want to, yeah, and I have those, and I worked with people who changed their entire perspective. They just need a certain perspective change. They need to just see things from a different angle, and then they're on their way. I've had that. Um, but majority of the people are looking for some form of hope, and it's draining when you want them to see it, and you're like, hey man, look, this is real, and they just don't take action on it, right? So yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, but nowadays no, because again, I don't do one-to-one like that anymore. Now I have my club, which, if people want to talk to me, they'll have to join the club, and I schedule appointments on there, and it's not this one-to-one thing. It's more, okay, if you want it, you'll show up, right? If you want to book a call with me, you'll book a call with me. If you want to if you want to check out the content that I post every single week on there, go check it out, right? But it's no longer do this, do this, do this, do this. It's you do it on, if you want it, you'll do it.
Got it. All right. So with that, your clientele has changed as
Yeah,
well a lot.
yeah, yeah.
That makes sense. All right. So I mean, is there anything next or that's on the radar for you that you have? Or like outside, we have you have your podcast, you have your club. Is there anything else that you're working on that I guess you won't mind the world to know?
There's a couple of things I'm working on that I don't want to talk about now. But to be honest, but yeah, man, I'm just gonna keep putting out content, keep putting videos out, keep putting out great quality content, continue to grow, man. And what I've been focusing on now is a different approach, and uh, to deliver my information, right? And also different styles of educating myself, finding meaning out of real things, like this new thing I've been on about nature, studying nature. Never in my life, as a kid who grew up in the Bronx, New York, right, would ever talk about how studying nature you can see the reality of the world. But the way my mind works now, it's like I'm studying a lot of things. I'm looking at life from a different angle, and it's bringing me this. It's how I come up with shit. You know what I'm saying? This newfound inspiration. It's a real thing, man. Like I'll give you a little example. Like, you know, the other day when I was on that 4 or 5 day trip, I think it was like a week or so. Yeah, like a week trip, and I'm in the mountains in the middle of nowhere, right? And I see, it's I'm by like a little river, right, that's behind the house, and in there I see a fucking snake. I see all these animals, right? At night we're grilling, and then I saw a bear, like a baby bear, right? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy, right? And it just made me think. I was sitting by the river, and I was like, yo, this world is filled with fucking savages. If you look at it, right, this world is filled with savages. Like, that bear smells food and is trying to get something to eat. That snake is running through the grass trying to get something to eat. Those birds are flying around looking for something to eat, digging on the floor. Just, they're trying to survive, to make shit happen. The fucking trees, they're growing as tall as they possibly can. And then we got us human beings who sit around and care about dumb shit, right? And that, something like that, just changes my whole perspective about life. You know what I'm saying? How this bear is trying to make moves at all times. I gotta eat. That's it, right? This snake is looking for something. The snake ain't chilling. The snake ain't trying to, the snake ain't going to the movies. You know what I'm saying? The snake, you know what I mean? Like the snake is looking for something to eat, because if it doesn't eat, you know what I'm saying? It eventually it will die,
Mhm.
right? And then also the birds and shit like that. So my point is, like, shit like that is a new approach to my education game, because there's millions of people right now, bro, doing what you're doing. Millions doing what I'm doing, right? How can, we can all read the same books and just, regurgitate all the same information. You know what I'm saying? Someone can listen to me, and I do this show called the Quote Breakdown on the All Moves podcast, and somebody could take that quote that I said and put it on their page, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? And think that they know, right? Like that, it's so easy to regurgitate someone else's information. So now, how is your approach different? Your learning approach. How do you find meaning in other ways instead of the books, the YouTube videos? How you just observing life, you observing of the human beings? How can you pull inspiration from that? And then when that brings something, you just go ahead and speak it to the world. And that's how I've been lately, man. I say the last 6-7 months, this has been my approach. So yeah, man, just an observer of fucking life. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. And I think as humans, like you said, we have to grow, we have to evolve, we have to change. So what you're doing, or what you've been doing, is in the process of, or it's a part of the evolution cycle,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And
It's
someone will,
amazing growth, bro. I see the difference.
yeah. I mean, I think
Yeah,
everyone who has followed you,
yeah, yeah.
has, right.
I'm guru status now, bro. I'm a guru now. I fuck with you. I
Uh,
fuck with you, bro.
no, no, it's definitely coming up. Definitely a sight to see. And, and definitely, I know this personally. Even with me, and I think I told you that, when we were working together closely, for what was it, like almost 2 years, over two
Yeah.
years, something like this. But it was a little bit. Um, there were certain rigors that I had, and it's just whether it was being around you, being coached by you, um, and then things, you know, kind of started to change a little bit. I dropped the album, had the motivational album, had the book, created the podcast. I have a plethora of videos, um, and then January 2019, things have started. Like, I got a couple speaking engagements, a couple things started happening, but just the rigor and things start to change a little bit, and it really does take. And I guess that's a really good. That's the next question for me, and probably the last one, is, they always say coaches have coaches and mentors have mentors, and there's people that push you and take you to the next level. And maybe I'm not aware of it, but has there been anyone that's at least within the last couple of years that's either coached you or pushed you? And if not, what continues to drive that?
Nah, man. To be honest, bro, everybody's my coach, right? I learn from everyone, man. I learned from again, I'm an observer now, man. I learn from everyone. I don't have a one person coach or somebody that I'm diving into. Again, I study all forms of thinking. I study all different types of lifestyles. I study just life, man. I'm telling you, if this is real, this is very real, and a lot of people who are listening to this probably won't even understand what I'm saying, because they're so used to just how the regular shit of of consuming, right? Oh, if you want to learn something, you go ahead and you either get a book about it, or you get a you watch a YouTube video, you buy a course, or you know what I'm saying. But when you tell somebody, yo, observe, study people, like study the people who say they want change, and then but they're living their entire life in contradiction, right? Why is that? Why does somebody say I want change, and I don't even have to answer the question for you. This is something that I want people to look for themselves. It's like, how can someone say I want change and then their entire life is literally their lifestyle is the complete opposite of what they say they want, right? And things like that. Observing people who are who say they're going through these problems, but then the lifestyle they're living, it's like, okay, you're not doing anything to try to see the problem and make adjustments, right? And you should start to see like why the industries, the people who make millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? What are those industries? That will give you an idea of what people actually care about, right? It's just if people are making the most money, right, in certain industries, what are those industries and why? And this is what I'm saying. Like, this is when you understand human nature, bro, and you understand psychology of human beings, man. You can do anything, man. You want to build a business, you know how to do it. You don't have to read a book. You already know marketing, right? Because you understand the psychology of human beings, and you can see what people care about, bro, when you see who has the most followers on social media, right? Who is who's building the biggest businesses and why? What are they really selling? Not the product, but behind the product, what are they really selling? And I don't have to answer these questions, right? You go over it in your mind, you see it for yourself, and you start to be like, holy shit, So there's not one person that I follow. There's many people that I follow. Like everybody. I learn from everyone, from every conversation I have, from any encounter, for every social media post I see, from everybody who hits me up, from everything, from this conversation right now. Every single thing, bro, I learn from and I pull inspiration from. And that, that's been a big thing for me, man.
Nice. So okay, no, I think that's a lot of great information. Just being an observer and really just watching in the background what's happening and what people are doing. So either A, you don't make the same mistakes, or if they're successful, you do what they're doing and figure out how can you become that success.
Right. Well, not do what they do, just figure out why they're doing what they're doing. They're
Yeah.
successful. Why are they doing that? You know what I'm saying? What are the moves they're making? Why are they making their moves? Don't necessarily make the same moves because it may not work for you, but why are they doing these moves? And it's again, you have to go behind what you see. You have to go the intention behind of what people do. And then you'll see reality, bro.
Mm.
It's straight facts, man. This ain't some fucking romantic, airy fairy, hug trees and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, what I'm saying here is legit. It gets to the source of the problem, man. And when you study people, you will see the problem. And you also, if you study yourself, you will see the true problems of the world, right? Because if you see what's wrong with you, just know there's millions and millions of people going through the same shit.
How do you develop that awareness, like especially of you, right? How
Right.
do you develop that?
But not lying to yourself, man. It's you know what I learned, man, working with a lot of people, man. The underlining thing of almost every successful person, somebody who changed their life, is they actually care.
Uh-huh.
People, you have to actually care, bro. Like, you, if you're curious about something, you'll go search it up, right? There's no confusion or no conflict, or you don't need any strategy if you say, hey man, who was the 20th president of the United States? Let's say you don't know. What are you gonna do? You're gonna search it up because you're curious, right? You're gonna go Google it very quick. You're gonna ask Siri. In your case, Alexa. You talking to Alexa now. You know what I'm saying? You cheating on Siri with Alexa, and, you know what I'm saying? You go figure it out, right? Nobody got to tell you, no strategy or how did you develop the awareness to Google this shit, bro? What's up? No, you was curious. Yo, who's the president of the 27th president? Let's go check it out. It's like that as well. It's with yourself. It's like, yo, what is actually going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it like, why do I feel this certain way? right? Why does these other people feel this way? Like, what is the actual problem? And through that curiosity, right, you stop lying to yourself, and you stop looking to escape the reality, because when you escape, and when the mind is occupied, it cannot see reality. It only sees what it want to sees, right? So it's like, okay, you're consuming, all this stuff, whether it's fantasy, whether it's illusion, whatever it is, right? And you, at that time you're consuming, you're not even thinking about what's actually going on in your life, the actual overall problem. But as soon as that shit's done, whatever you do for those couple hours, and you're laying down in bed, the reality kicks in. Or when something happens in your life because you've been putting away the problem for a long time, you've been ignoring the problem, and when you ignore it, it doesn't solve the problem still exists. So you have yourself now fucking, ignoring the problem so long that it grows into something that's different. If you would have just handled the problem originally, you would have saw what's actually going on. So the way you develop that awareness is by actually caring, bro. I mean, you can't teach this stuff. I can't teach you to care about your own problems and what's going on in your mind and your life. I can't teach you to do that. But most people do. And there's people making millions and millions and billions of dollars teaching and selling products of this hope that we can teach you how to care. You can't, man. You can talk about this, and hopefully if someone cares enough about their own life, it will shift their perspective. But you can't show somebody how to do that. They have to care about it themselves.
No, that's deep, philosophical.
She said deep, philosophical. It's practical, man. Just
Yeah,
look at it straight up. Just look at it. It makes mad sense.
yeah, no,
There's people who say they're philosophical. It's like, to be or not to be, to see the wall or let the wall see you. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, dude, like, what are you even talking about? You know what I'm saying? But I like to break things down in a way that the average person who can truly listen to what I'm saying, and it will make so much sense to them. And that's why the audience is growing, man. It's the message, the way I'm delivering my message, how detailed it is, because how clear I am in my mind, bro. How clear I am. It's like I'm getting into the details of what someone's actually experiencing. Because again, I'm always observing and I'm seeing what's going on. Not only myself, but within everybody else.
mhm. No,
Yeah, man.
that makes loads of sense, man. Well, man, I definitely appreciate you hopping on the podcast. As
That's it, bro. That's it. We ain't doing an hour and 50 minutes again.
yeah, no,
uh,
I'm gonna,
yeah, appreciate
I
it.
was looking at I was looking at just again observing, and one of my favorite podcasts is by, his name is Sean, I think Casey or something like that. It's called Quote of the Day. And what he does is he has a quote and he pulls like a 5 to 10 minute clip from a bunch of different people, and he goes through a certain topic, and people just listen to that, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
precise, is to the point. It's kind of like what you do with your quote breakdown, right? It's not
Right, right.
hour plus. It's I guess between like 10 and 20 minutes.
Yeah. 10, 15. Yeah.
Yeah, between 10 and 15 minutes. So it's really precise. It's really to the point. And he does something like that with his podcast. And he takes just different popular um, speakers from. I'm assuming he pulls it from YouTube.
Yeah.
Takes that particular section. And what's good about it is, again, it's precise. It's to the point, um, which I love. So it's good to definitely have an in-depth conversation with somebody. But sometimes people just want the meat and potatoes, right?
The meat and potatoes. Yeah.
We live in a
But we
fast-paced
gave them
world.
a lot of meat and potatoes, bro, today.
Yeah,
Hopefully they found this valuable, man. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot. It was, it you know, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm good. I like it.
no,
Very good conversation. I appreciate you having me on, man.
absolutely. I mean, again, as usual, I appreciate you being on. I appreciate you enlightening um, the followers of the 1% mindset, and definitely best of luck to the About Life. Definitely go check out the About Life podcast. I'm sorry, the All Moves podcast. My
There
apologies.
you go. There you go. You're doing your research. Great journalist, man. You're a great journalist. You know what I'm saying? You fix that real quick. You
Yeah,
know, the All Moves podcast.
the
Check
Audible
that out.
podcast.
And yeah, man.
So
Appreciate it, bro.
definitely go check that out. Go check out Anthony. The Anthony Minaya 1-5. What
There
is
you
it?
go. You're a great journalist, man. At Anthony Minaya One, bro. You doing your job, bro. Great interviewer, bro.
Anthony Minaya 1, or check out the About of Life all on IG, man. It's yes.
Yeah.
I definitely and I have no problem doing it. I've done this publicly multiple times, but a lot of my success and where I am and where I've built the 1% mindset has definitely been attributed to what you've done. So I appreciate it. Actually, the 1% mindset came about a few months before you dropped the About a Life. So
Yeah.
um,
Appreciate that, man. For real.
definitely.
OD. Now you got to. Now you have to be successful after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Now you
exactly.
got to. Now you got to make millions, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I'm
co-signed you, bro.
I'm definitely working on it. I mean, we made a lot of moves. He was on the album. You got the shout out in the
That's it,
book.
yo. You
Um,
think? Have you ever thought? You thought about dropping a new one, like an EP or something?
uh, no, I may do another book. I may do
Okay.
another, probably not another motivational album. Um,
Okay.
just because I don't know. I don't know. I haven't thought. I haven't really thought about it. But I feel like information with the digital space, you gotta have millions and millions of streams, to really see anything. I can create a book and sell it for $20, and people can buy a bunch, and it works, right? So
Right.
it gives me a little bit more, um, not even just financially, but just more leverage, I should
Right.
say.
Right.
So
I mean, but the album's a lifetime, brother. The album lasts a life. Oh, they both do.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It depends.
yeah,
But yeah. Anyway, I don't want to keep you on here, bro. Sounds good. Appreciate you for having me on, man. For real. And we
I
gotta do this again,
definitely appreciate
live though.
everyone everyone that's listening on the 1% mindset. I appreciate you guys as per usual. Signing out.